jasmine, coffee, pine, rain, and a volcano? Tracy Fitzgerald is in studio today, and we want to know why she likes the smell of a volcano.
Get ready for the real estate show that takes you across the barriers and into the danger zone. That Bitchin' Real Estate Podcast with your host, Tenacious T.
Tracy, who are you? Where do you work? And why do you do what you do?
Well, I am a realtor, and I'm a mother of two amazing children and a wife.
Yes.
To an amazing husband. And I work with Russ Lyons. I work for Russ Lyons Sotheby's International Realty. I love what I do. I've been selling real estate now for, I think almost 16 years.
Yes.
And truly passionate about it. There's no better feeling, right, than knowing that you found that family or that couple, their dream home.
Yeah.
And I truly love it. And I love working with different people. You know, our job is never Groundhog's Day. It's every day's different.
Yep.
You're meeting different people. You're dealing with a lot of different personalities and looking at gorgeous homes. So, I mean, to me, I feel like I'm living the dream.
Yeah.
Not only living in Scottsdale, Arizona, but doing what I do and what I love. And, you know, since my husband has joined me about 4 years ago, it's even better because before, as you know, I mean, real estate can really suck you in.
Yes.
And it's very time consuming.
In a good way, though. So
Yes.
For someone like you, you're probably in your highest vibration when you're creatively preparing a home or getting a buyer into a home. That is where you have your ding, ding, ding. That is your satisfying moment. And when you're working like that, it's not work anymore. It's the service in you. You love to serve so you can change people's lives. You know, and that's hard to let go of. It's hard to let go of and set aside. So you brought in family. Let's see, you got licensed in 2004, though.
Yes.
So before we talk about hubby joining you in the business, I remember seeing you on a panel, I think it was 4 years ago. And a lot of agents think this, like, oh, she just was at the right place, the right time, and that's why she's so successful. And it's not that at all. So tell me about getting your license in 2004, the struggle following the downfall, and how you were able to solidify your position in not only real estate, but the luxury market.
Well, so back in 2004, I was a stay-at-home mom. To be honest, we were very fortunate. I did not have to work. And really the plan was for me to stay home and raise my kids.
Yeah.
But Tim and I, we dabbled a little bit in real estate. So we owned a few investment properties. And really at that time, we would buy a home, live in it, fix it up, sell it. And we kind of kept moving up. And it just got her, you know, each time we get into a nicer home.
Yeah.
And we're like, wow, this is fun.
Were you decorating and doing the design?
Yeah, Tim and I were doing it together.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just naturally, hey, this looks good. Let's do it.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah. We both have an eye for it. Love it. And we both have always gone through, you know, we would go through open houses. We were like real estate nerds.
HGTV, 24/7.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we loved real estate. And so he was like, one day he's like, you know what? One of us should get a real estate license. And back in 2004, you didn't have Zillow and access to the MLS like consumers do now to be able to search for homes. So we wanted to have our license just so we could get on the MLS, see what's available. And then, you know, we thought, hey, if we could make a little bit of money on the side to help friends and family, you know, what an added benefit, right? So I said, well, I'll go get my license. And little did I know that this was like my true calling. So I got my license. I mean, granted, I do have to say 2004 was one of the hottest real estate markets.
I recall, I didn't have my license then, but I had bought my first home in 2002. And I remember 2004, a friend of mine came and he's like, hey, you can double your money. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, I can get this thing sold in 6 hours or
Isn't that
something
crazy?
like that.
Yeah.
And basically, you're just putting the house up and it's selling very quickly in most cases. So
Oh yeah, and it was that was the year where you had lotteries for brand new
Yes,
homes,
yes.
and people they would buy a home for $200,000 and sell it for $400,000 the
Right.
next day, or like this does just not seem
Right.
right. It was good while it lasted. So, with all fairness, it was not that hard to sell real estate that year, but I sold 12 million my first year, and I was like, holy cow!
Pause. Holy, that's close to like my best year ever. Wow. So that's a very good first year.
Yeah, so you can imagine, like I was just like, oh my gosh, like I love this.
Yeah.
Can we get a nanny? I want to do this full time, and I had no idea that I would love it so much and be really good. But I'll tell you what. I mean, it's not really a secret, but I am a strong believer in what you put out, you will receive.
Yeah.
And when Tim and I discussed to say, okay, I'm going to get my license, and then I said, I really want to do this full time, I said, you know what? I'm not doing this half-ass. I'm going after the multi-million-dollar deals. I'm going to be a luxury agent, and I'm going to be one of the best luxury agents in this town. And he's just like, okay, honey, But I believed it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he thought I was, okay, whatever.
That is key.
Yes.
It's not only saying I am going to do it, is you absolutely 100% believe and see yourself doing it.
I did. And I always say, like, there's so many people who say I can't. And I'm like, well, of course you can't, because you don't think you can.
Right.
You're capable of doing anything you want. But you have to believe in yourself and have that dedication. So I'm not saying it came that easy, but I had that vision.
Yeah, you wanted it.
I wanted it. I started sitting. I mean, it's very selective as far as open houses. And as you know, as a newer agent, you sit open houses to build up your clientele.
Yes.
And I sat luxury homes. And hey, maybe I got lucky being at the right place at the right time, but I worked really hard.
Yeah.
I always have been a very hard worker.
Yeah.
And I've just been going strong ever since. And, it's interesting because I think there was someone had said that they thought I was married to a builder, and they're like, oh, that's how she got so, successful.
Yeah.
I was never married to a builder, but my parents were custom homes, but not here in the state of Arizona.
And
it was
you know
in
what?
Texas.
It has nothing to do with who you're married to. It has nothing to do with who your friend is. Sure, maybe you can get a deal here and there from something like that. But what it really comes down to is how you've perfected your business to be relevant in order to serve people. Because, I mean, I've had a few luxury listings. They are not easy.
No.
They are not easy, and they're very expensive.
Extremely expensive. And I mean, you're dealing with a different level.
Yep.
I don't want to say different caliber of people, but they have very high expectations.
Right.
So it is not, I cannot tell you how many agents throughout the years that I've mentored, or they say, hey, I really want to get into luxury. And I tell them it's not as glamorous as you think.
No.
I mean, a lot of times, we'll take a listing and we dump $10, $15, even $20,000 into it.
Yep.
And then we don't sell it and we lose the listing, right? Because they always think it's our fault, even though it's not. It takes a long time.
let's listen to that one more time. We're going to take, say, a $400,000 home, and we spent maybe $1,000 marketing, and it didn't work out, and you part your separate ways, whatever. Sure, that's a big loss. It's $1,000, but you're talking $10,000, $20,000 because you're preparing the home. You've got magazines, you've got ads, you've got commercials, you've got broker opens and different events that you're holding there. That's a tough loss. Can you walk me through, say, your first real big, oh God, I lost all of that marketing and that money. How did you deal with that?
Oh, so let me think of a listing that I actually poured a lot of money into and that
recently.
I didn't get paid on.
Yeah. I would love to hear, were you disappointed in yourself? Were you disappointed in the client? Did you beat yourself up? Because I would. Yeah. I know in my first few, I was like, oh God, why didn't I do this? And why didn't I do that? And why couldn't I get it to work?
Right.
And really it just came down to, it just didn't, the vibe, and when you use that word again, the vibe just wasn't there for it to happen.
I mean, this is going to sound arrogant, but I never blame myself. I know
That's
I
good,
do.
though.
I know
That's
I
good,
do
though.
a really good job, and I do more than most agents do. Because I know what needs to be done, and I have the money to spend
Sure.
to market these listings. But many times it's either a price issue
Mm-hmm.
or you're trying to sell, a home that is not as desirable in today's market. As we know, like when I got into the business, everybody wanted Tuscan.
Yes.
And that was right. And
The
now,
old-
we can't give them
Yes.
away. Some
No,
people
yeah.
do. But it's a very small audience,
Yeah.
right? The
Yeah.
the sexy new, flavor
Yeah.
is contemporary modern.
yeah.
But so I know a lot of times it's not me. And I
That's good.
will there's times I have to not fight, but argue in a respectful way with my clients to say, listen, it's not when it comes down
Sure.
to saying we think we're going to change or I'm going to lose a listing. I'm like, it is not me.
That's what I call the come to Jesus meeting.
Yes. And I'm like, and they're like, well, sometimes they think they just need some fresh blood. And I said, listen, and even when I'm the second or third agent in, I
Sure.
would tell them, and I know most of the agents, luxury agents here in town, and I'll tell them, listen, you had great agents working for you on your behalf. I truly don't believe it was them. I think it was a pricing issue, or your home just didn't present itself right, or it's the style of the home or the location. So,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that, affect why home doesn't sell, but bottom line is we know consumers, it's
Right.
always our fault if it
Right.
doesn't sell,
Of course it is.
right?
Of course it is.
Anyways.
Yes. But that's refreshing to hear. And what I think your audience would want to hear too is your process, your systems, you've dialed in what works.
No, absolutely. And sometimes too, you do just need a change. And
Yeah.
and I'll tell you, I've turned down big listings.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, back in 2007, I think it was. So I was still kind of new into my career, but I had already established myself as a luxury agent. I turned down a $5 million listing.
Wow.
And the reason being is these days, I guess you get to a certain point that as much as they're interviewing us for the job, I'm also interviewing them.
Yep.
And I'm all about, good energy. Are we going to work together well? Are they going to be respectful to me? Are they going to let me do my job?
Yeah.
This guy wanted to micromanage me and see like every receipt I spent and be there for the showings. And I was just like, no. I cannot work under these circumstances.
Right.
I'm good at what I do and I'm a professional, but if you have to be there and hold my hand through every step.
Allow you to do your job.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Trust you to do your job.
So this guy got so upset. He wanted to hire me and I politely turned it down. And long story short, he literally had like a manic moment. Like he got really angry
Yeah.
and started calling me names. I was shaking. I remember this like it was yesterday and calling Tim. And I was like, oh my gosh, no one has ever spoken to me the way he has spoken to me.
Right.
Or the way he spoke to
Right.
me. And I actually told him I'm hanging up the phone and I hung up on him because I was like, I'm not going to listen to this nonsense. And he kept calling me back like a crazy person. And I just, ignored him. A week later, he called back and he apologized and begged me to take the listing. But I knew
it
then
wasn't.
that I made the right decision.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think sometimes it's hard, even though because we're seeing these money signs or this, that, but it's not all about the money.
Exactly.
I have to feel comfortable. I just didn't have good vibes. I knew.
Yeah.
And that's why it wasn't only because he wanted to micromanage me, but something didn't feel right
Right.
with him. And I didn't feel like it was a good match. So.
And I think a lot of agents are afraid of the word no. They're afraid, especially if you're, working from paycheck to paycheck.
Sure.
A lot of agents, they're still establishing that
Yeah.
pipeline. And it's hard to say no.
Oh, no, it is.
But I definitely have learned over the years that I should have said no.
Yeah. And I think with experience, because early on, I wasn't like that. You
Right,
take
you don't
everything
know.
and anything, and
Yeah.
you're just so grateful to have anything. But then you get to a point to say, if they're not going to respect me or they're being disrespectful like this, I've had a couple of other situations where I've had to fire clients and just to say that, I just don't feel like we're working well together, and I really appreciate the opportunity. And I very politely exit out. I wish them the best. I'm very professional. I never get angry with anyone. But you just have to go your separate ways. And sometimes, you're just, just like if you meet someone, you just know, like, I'm just not going to jive with that person.
Exactly.
It's just not going to work. So I'm happy to say I'm at a place now that I can pick and choose who I want to do business with. And
And that's when you excel in your business too, because if you're saying yes to things that you know down deep, I mean, yes, the dollar sign sounds right, but if
Right.
you know and you've said yes and you're working on something, it bleeds to the
Yes.
rest of your business. It bleeds to your agents that are working for you and in your home life. And having the ability and the luxury to say no, which everyone should have, regardless of your
Yes.
income, you should be able to say no.
Absolutely.
That is what I believe propels us forward.
Yep.
Having that beautiful, you love what you do. It's not a job. You
Right.
just love what you do and you love serving.
No, I absolutely agree because I tell, the sellers or buyers that work with, I said, this is a partnership. We're a team.
Yes.
We're working
Yeah.
together, so we have to be on the same page. I mean, we can't obviously be on the same page like 100%, but
Right.
for the most part,
You
we're
have
in this
to trust you.
Yes,
Yeah.
and if you don't have that, it
It falls apart from there.
it really
Yeah,
does.
it does.
It's just not going to have a successful ending.
So you were able to just find that niche. You love doing this. You've established yourself in the luxury field because that's what you wanted. You knew you could do it. And about 4 years ago, you decided that you wanted Tim to come
Yes.
join you.
Yes.
So he is this brilliant marketer, right?
Yes.
Advertising. Talk about a really nice fit.
I know. I mean, it really goes hand in hand. And I'll tell you, Tim has always done real estate with me kind of
Yeah,
behind the scenes.
yeah.
He loves it. And to be honest, I think he was a little jealous. He was just like, I want to do what you do. And we talked about this, Kimberly, for years before
Yeah.
he joined me. But, Tim owns a print marketing advertising company. We still do.
Yeah.
But he was like, how do I... He didn't want to just walk away from that.
Sure.
He built a great company he's had for over 30 years. But he's like, how can I do this and do that? And I just said, listen, I'm a strong believer that things happen for a reason. And if there's a will, there's a way.
Yep.
And so I said, go get your real estate license. Let's don't talk about this anymore for years upon years. Just go get your license. And then let's see where we're
Let's
at
do
that
it.
point. So then he got his license and he was so nervous to go in and talk to his employees. And because he thought that they would feel like their job was threatened
Sure.
or they would.
He's got a new baby.
Because he was the main salesperson.
Yeah.
He had his inside salespeople and bookkeepers and people, all that,
Sure.
and the office personnel. But he had some very loyal employees. And one guy, John, had been with him for, close to 12 years. Great guy. And so he was so scared to go talk to him. And when he did, it was the complete opposite of what he thought.
Yeah.
And I mean, John got a raise. Now John's like, big man on campus.
Yeah.
He's running the show.
Yeah.
And Tim said,
beautiful.
listen, all I want you to do is just maintain what I've built. Just don't sink the ship. I'm not looking for you to be me and go
Right.
out there and knocking on doors and
Because he's really good with people. I have to
Oh,
say that.
he's
like
amazing.
He's like this little butterfly that goes
Yeah.
around. Well, we shouldn't call him a butterfly. He's like this magnificent tiger going
lion, a
around.
tiger, right?
Whatever you want. But
Yeah. He's the best salesperson I've ever met, but I've learned a lot from him
Yeah.
throughout the years. But anyways, we're very blessed because it's been 4 years now. The marketing company is doing well. They actually have grown it.
That's so nice.
And they're
That's so
happy,
nice.
and Tim's happy because he gets to work alongside me. And to be honest with you, I needed someone that had the exact same work ethics as I do, and someone that I could trust. And I didn't want to just be gone all the time. I was
Yeah.
away from him.
You needed to combine
And
it.
so now for us to do this together, and our kids are older, they're we have a 20 and a 17-year-old, so they don't need us home all the
Right,
time with
right.
them. They'd probably rather that we're not home most of the time.
Yeah.
So it works so well.
Yeah.
And we have a ball. We love
Yeah.
it. I mean, 90% of the time we're together doing things.
And you're traveling more now.
Yes,
Is
we
that
are.
where the volcano smell
Well,
comes
you
in?
know what's funny, and I knew this was going to come up, and it's actually not volcano like the volcano you're talking
okay,
about. Do
okay.
you know volcano, the anthropology candle? I'm a candle
No,
freak.
I
okay, it's a
don't.
volcano scent. So it is my favorite scent. And candles, and I love candles. That's
Yeah.
one of the things that I love to do when I get home, just to relax. is I like candles.
Candles are extremely important. I have one lit for my son 24/7. I've had it lit for a long time. I gave up the scents for a while because it was too much for a while. But they say that a candle holds the light in your heart reflected.
Oh, really?
So when you go home, you're coming home to your heart and lighting that to reflect back to you.
I love that. That's beautiful. Well, maybe that's why I love it. But I've always loved candles. And when you asked me about scents, I was like, okay, volcano. And
I'm going to have to look that up now. And what triggered for me is I renewed my vows with my husband 2 years ago, our 15-year anniversary on the Big Island. And it just so happened the volcano was just pluming at the time.
Wow.
So I'm like, is that the smell she's talking about?
Yes, you're
the
like,
sulfur
so
smell? I'm not quite sure. Okay.
You're probably like, okay, she's a little
fascinating. Let me touch on a few of your other favorite things. So for the audience out there, I ask for 5 words on 3 topics. And for a daily routine or what you like to do daily, dogs, family, green tea, movies, and exercise. Movies. What is your kind of movie? What's your flavor? Are you romantic, mysterious, suspenseful?
I love suspenseful dramas.
Yeah.
Love it. And I know like our kids make fun of us. They just think we're like total nerds. But that, I'm very high energy. Mm-hmm. And it takes a lot for me to just relax.
Yeah.
And one of the things we love to do is together, and a lot of times we do it together as a family.
Sure.
As well as we watch movies.
Yeah.
And we'll binge watch, Netflix shows and stuff like that. But that is the only thing I can do to just really get me off my feet and just relax for a couple hours where I'm not multitasking.
It's a mindless entertainment that makes you think. Mm-hmm. It gets you away from everything else that you're doing and escapes you into a world of fantasy. So what is one of your favorite movies?
Well, you know what we just finished, which I love, which isn't so much suspenseful drama, but we just watched the Lord of the Rings series. Like we've seen it 3 times.
Yeah.
But we watched it over again during COVID with the kids. And, that was really good. But gosh, my favorite all-time movie. God, there's so many. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing. We watch so many movies that I just can't remember what all we've seen.
I am a movie freak. I mean, obviously, I take some of my advertising with lightsabers. So, yes.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen, and I when you said movies, it just kind of went through my head. You might not have seen it, Somewhere in Time.
I don't think I have.
So it was Christopher Reeve and Jane Seymour. It was actually launched in 1980. But it was made just before that, and there was a strike, so they couldn't launch the movie. And it was just after Christopher Reeve had made Superman.
Okay,
uber famous.
Okay.
And it's based on a book by Richard Matheson called Bid Time Return. And I'll remind you, but watch Somewhere in Time.
Okay.
It is... It changed my life as an 8-year-old, and I still think about it today.
Really?
So, yes.
Okay.
It is suspenseful. It's got, I don't want to say too much, but Somewhere in Time, folks. So report back to me on that one. All right.
But my favorite movie probably in the 80s was I loved E.T.
E.T. is fabulous. I remember
E.T.
going to I think it was the Orpheum. I was in Utah at the time. It was the Orpheum. It was a big theater that we had, and I remember it was crowded. It was really rare to have it like that packed. And it was... I mean, phone home, E.T., phone. I mean, who doesn't? Who was not moved by that?
Oh my God, I loved it. I cried so hard when he was dying.
Oh my God, yes. Okay, so your goals for 2020: success, goals, personal growth, organize, and health. Personal growth and health.